we do. We have to make sure we have this on record. All right, welcome everyone. I appreciate everybody's time. This is Eretmis Cyber Chat. We do this every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. And like I always say, Friday night, you could have been anywhere else doing, a variety of other stuff, but you chose to be here to share the knowledge and then also to participate in the community. We appreciate your time, and we'll make sure your time spent with us is not going to go to waste, because you're always going to get something new out of this for your toolbox and also for your cybersecurity career and everything you want to do cybersecurity, and even outside cybersecurity, right? It's a community. We are here. The goal is also to network. So if maybe somebody say something or we bring somebody on and you want to network, like we always do, we'll put their contacts or their details in the chat, right? I think somebody is talking about volume. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you. So tonight we'll be looking at one of the biggest topics that most folks within the family, have been asking about. Cybersecurity, setting up a cybersecurity company, right? And also, just a caveat to that, we have a training program coming up sometime next year. That will be predominantly just step by step, taking you through all the different, all the details and every single step and how to build a cybersecurity company from scratch, right? So tonight we are going to do a big overview and give you some, really good info to get you started. But then, there's going to be something coming up that is going to be step by step, holding your hand literally to run through the whole entire steps of setting up a cybersecurity company that is profitable from day one, right? Not just setting it up, right? So let's begin. And like we always do, we are going to go through some of the CPEs or, continuous education that we've been preaching. But before we do, if you are new to the family, I'm Dr. Emmanuel Edu. I'm a former United States Army captain. I'm the owner of Eretmis Inc., a cybersecurity consulting firm. We're a QSA company also as well, right? So if I'm telling you about how to set up a cybersecurity company, I know what I'm talking about, right? I'm also the founder of Eretmis Academy, a cybersecurity training institute based in New York, both companies based in New York. And I'm a QSA as well, and a cybersecurity consultant, cybersecurity, as a cybersecurity student, actually. I'm always learning, right? Continuously learning. And I can bore you to death with cybersecurity, just talk cybersecurity, right? So, and we are also here to help. One of my passions or my main goal of doing this, or for us as a Eretmis team doing this every Friday night, is to help grow the community, create more awareness about cybersecurity careers, and also even, entrepreneurship within the cybersecurity space, right? So before we begin the actual chat, CompTIA, we are partners with CompTIA. We are authorized partners. So that means that for all our community members, we give you 20% discount on any CompTIA certification that you want to sit for, right? Now, for Christmas, we have our big Christmas discount coming, our big Christmas sale coming up pretty soon. I think it's going to be sometime next week, right? So be on the lookout for that. And like I was talking about, the 20% discount from us, the 20% that we get for being partners with CompTIA, we push that down to everybody within the community. Okay, so if you're interested in writing any CompTIA certifications, you can always reach out and we'll purchase the voucher on your behalf and you get the 20%. Okay. Now, for continuous education, if you have a certification, for all the certifications, cybersecurity certifications, you have to renew them every 3 years, right? So there are two ways. Either you sit for the exam again, or you show that you've been continuously learning and improving yourself in the cyberspace over the period of the 3 years, right? One way you can do that is to use this webinar to get some points, some CE points for CompTIA and other certifications that you've probably written. Or if you're planning to write any of these, then you know how to go about renewing your certification. This is step by step how you go through adding your CEUs to your CompTIA certification, right? I think we've gone through this extensively, but we keep hammering this every week just to create that awareness, right? So with that, we are going to move on. Now we have an Eretmis Cybersecurity group. It's a WhatsApp group where we post, links to these chats and other resources that we have. We post them in there in our WhatsApp group. So if you want to be part of the group, we are going to post the link. You can join that, and you can also share that among your friends and family for anyone who wants to know more about cybersecurity and learn more and stay up to date on cybersecurity. Now, for everything that we are doing, all our cyber chats, we post them on YouTube. So please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube. Spread the word. You can learn a whole ton from our YouTube content, right? There are some folks, I don't think, probably have not seen any of them on here today, but I think we've had like 2 or 3 people who got jobs without even coming to the training, to the Eretmis Academy to train, but just through the YouTube videos that they were taking, right? They were able to use that, skill interviews and got jobs with that. So it's a really lot of good content over there. So please do check that out also as well. So for tonight, we will be looking at cybersecurity news. And then our internship and workshop, it was supposed to start next week, but upon some discussions, we've moved it. So the new dates will be outdoor when we get to the bottom of what we are discussing tonight. So it's no more going to be in December, it's going to be early January. So we are going to start with cyber news. So in cyber news, somebody's in trouble, right? There's a group that call themselves the Clear Gods, and what they did was that they will steal some people's, or like they will steal your information, use that to open an account and use your account to buy phones. That is all that they did. Open an account in your name and buy phones with it. And they've stolen over $28 million. That is a lot of money. And probably the phones they were purchasing were not cheap either, right? So because to be able to buy phones to that tune is a lot. Now, the guy who's in charge of it, Mr. Bush, he got caught, and he is almost nearly about to face like a 20-year jail term, right? And the moral of the story is try and keep your personal information very close to your chest, right? Securely, because when malicious people like this get hold of it, bad things will happen. Now, also the bad part about this is if you are probably caught in this, like sometimes it's really difficult to get yourself out of it in terms of if somebody opens an account in your name and they use that to buy something on credit, right? To wiggle yourself out of it, sometimes it's almost impossible, right? They are going to make you pay that money, right? I've heard of stories, not personally witnessed, but stories whereby people were opening accounts using other people's information, and they were not using it to just buy cell phones, but they were using it to buy cars. Right? So you'll be there and they will send you a message that you didn't pay your car note for the last 2 months. And you're asking yourself, what car note, right? Probably purchase some car in, Ohio, and you've never lived in Ohio. So please make sure you are keeping your personal information close to your chest. Now, yes, Mr. Bush is going to face a 20-year jail term, and he has to also pay back to AT&T because I think they purchased most of the phones from AT&T. He has to pay back almost $1.5 million back to AT&T. Maybe probably has some of the 28 still hidden somewhere. Maybe he can pay that, or I don't know how that is going to play out. But his sentence will start on the 25th. So we are going to jump into our next news, right? So this news also borders on. Go ahead, Jason.
So, Doc, how does that make sense? The man stole 28 and he's paying back 1.5?
No, I think that is only for AT&T. Maybe some other providers that they probably stole from, they also have to pay some money back. So like in such cases, everybody is suing, right? So whoever is able to make their case well, maybe probably they are the ones who are going to get some money back, right? So
Oh, understood. Thanks,
yeah,
Doc.
they didn't really talk about the other companies that were involved, but maybe AT&T were, the ones who probably maybe took all the lawyers and took all the legal fees and the rest. So maybe probably that is why, but I'm just speculating. I don't know that for a fact. But what I know is they are paying, supposed to pay AT&T back that money, right? So in our next cyber news, we are looking at, so there's a research that was conducted, and the research, they came up with the top cyber risks in 2024, right? In the very near future, but probably like 2 weeks, near future, right? In 2024, what are some of the top cyber risks that we are going to encounter, right? What the research came up with is that nude pictures, leaked nude pictures, or leaked nudes are top on the list, right? So if you have anything like that anywhere, please make sure you delete it, or you delete it permanently and securely, right? Or you keep it well, because if these malicious actors, they get their hands on this, then it's going to be a problem. Now, on top of the list of top cyber risks for 2024 was the leaked nudes. Also on the list where attackers are discussing, new ways of bypassing biometrics. So biometrics are considered to be, the layman will just say biometrics is the most secure, right? If you're a technical security guy, if your biometrics are not tuned well, they are the most problematic, right? But attackers are finding ways to bypass biometrics. They have ways now, but they are looking to polish it up and make it even more better, right? So that is also top of one of the 5 top cyber risks to look out for in 2024, right? Now, sales of stolen data, so your personal data, PII, PHI, and the rest is also in the top 5. Top 5 cyber risks. Now, this is no news because it's been going on for a while, but still in the top 5. So you just have to be on the lookout. And then also AI-driven crime. So there was also a cyber news that we didn't put on here because we just do 2. Now, scammers or folks, malicious actors who normally call you on the phone or try to scam you on the phone, right? Now they are getting more sophisticated. They are using AI to mimic, or AI to, mimic the voice of your relatives and your loved ones. And, when they do call you, you might think it's your mom, your dad, your friend, and it's going to be some malicious actor somewhere, right? They are going to direct you to do certain things or give them money or something. And you blush because you think it's, a relative. So just be on the lookout for that also as well. So with that, we are going to move into what is cybersecurity company, what a cybersecurity company is, and we will look into the different steps or the steps in building a cybersecurity company, right? So what is a cybersecurity company? What normally will a cybersecurity company do? What makes it a cybersecurity company, right? Before we look at how to build a cybersecurity company or how to start one, we have to first acknowledge what a cybersecurity company is in the first place, right? So cybersecurity company is a company that specializes in providing services and solutions to protect individuals and organizations. So protect your assets and your assets, IT assets, digital assets, and it goes beyond that, even physical assets also as well, because cybersecurity include physical security as well, right? So we are protecting, as a cybersecurity company, you are protecting individuals, organizations, their systems, and their overall IT assets and physical assets, beyond IT, sometimes also will be factored into it, right? So some of the core functions and operations or offerings of a cybersecurity company includes the following. So as a cybersecurity company, you'll be working in one of these areas or multiple of these areas. So threat assessment and management, cybersecurity solutions, tools, right? So companies that are developing software, different cybersecurity software and tools, monitoring, incident response, compliance, risk management, education and training, consulting and advisory services, compliance services, including what Eretmis does for PCI, and also other compliance areas like HIPAA and the rest, and then managed security services. Now, these are by no means all the list of things that a cybersecurity company will do or a cybersecurity business will do, but at least some of it, right? So with that, we are going to move into why a cybersecurity company. Why would you even think about setting up a cybersecurity company, right? What are some of the statistics that would drive you to do that? Now, cybersecurity is broad, is big. Why would you want to set up a company and focus on cybersecurity? Now, we know there's a demand for cybersecurity services, but what really, are the numbers? So cyber breach or data breach or cybersecurity incidents around 2022, right? It cost companies on average $9.4 million in the US. Now, this is not for like small companies, but for the big ones, for smaller companies, and there's a statistics that speak to small to medium companies. So small to medium companies that experience a cyber breach, 64% of them will go out of business within 6 months, right? So to encounter a data breach or a cyber incident is no easy thing for a company, right? Now, because of that, if companies are losing on average $9.4 million, and some companies are losing more. I remember in 2019, when Capital One was breached, their AWS was breached, the Department of Finance, I think, fined them almost $80 million, right? So cybersecurity is a big headache for organizations, and attackers are getting smarter and smarter, like we just saw. So the demand for cybersecurity services and cybersecurity professionals are only going to go up because attackers are also, revamping their skills and getting better at it, and stealing more money, causing more problems. So the demand for security companies for security professionals are also going to go up, right? So the high financial stakes in companies trying to save themselves from all the trouble that comes with cyber or data breaches is one of the biggest reasons why if you have any entrepreneurial blood, right, or entrepreneurial twist to whatever you are doing in security, you should look into setting up a cybersecurity company. Now, even if you are not looking to set up one in the very short future or very near future, learning the steps in how to do it, I think will go a long way to help you, because you might never know when you might decide to, branch into business, right? And now, some of the reasons why you want to get into this is the growing demand, like I talked about. You are contributing to a safer digital world, which is a good thing, right? Financial opportunity, there's a lot of financial opportunity in this space, a lot, right? And so although Eretmis is not a billion-dollar cybersecurity company, there are a lot of billion-dollar cybersecurity companies out there. We are a seven-figure cybersecurity company, gradually moving up, but we are yet to cross that to go to the billion side. So, but still, there's a lot of financial opportunity in this space, right? So if companies are willing to pay cybersecurity professionals 100K and up, so if it's a cybersecurity consulting firm, how much do you think they are making to be able to pay you that per month? And they don't have just you, but they have a couple of cybersecurity professionals in there as well, right? So, and there are also, for diversity, there's a lot of different niches within the cyberspace. There's always something that you can do, even if you've never had.
I got to do it. He do it for 50. He do my left test for 50. No.
Sorry about that. I think I just Ralph, please kindly. You've been muted. Please kindly make sure you don't unmute yourself. All right. So we are moving on now. Global impact or global reach. As a security company, you can. Cybersecurity is needed everywhere, right? So if you're a cybersecurity company in the States, in Europe, you can work, cross continent. You can work anywhere, right? Eretmis does work across continents as well, right? Now, regulatory compliance. So there's always going to be, new regulatory compliance obligations for companies, right? As companies are growing, as they're getting bigger and bigger, and as the cyber landscape is changing, there's always going to be some compliance twist to the whole equation, and they will need cybersecurity companies to step up to be able to do this. An example for within the PCI space, you have to be they have to be a cybersecurity company first before they can qualify you to become an assessor or a cyber or to become a QSA company to be able to do assessments for them. So that falls within the compliance space. Now, building strategic partners. As you get into this space, you will know pretty quickly that you cannot do it all. So you have to partner with some companies. So example for Eretmis, for assessments that we do, if you have to do pen testing and the rest, we don't do pen testing in-house, so we'll obviously reach out, right? So if there's somebody on here who owns a pen testing company, guess what? We'll reach out to you. Hey, we have this gig. Our client needs to, do pen testing. Can you do that for them, right? Or if, something on those lines, training. If we have a client who needs training, and maybe because we are the ones doing the audits, if we cannot do the training, then obviously we are going to reach out to another company. Now, continuous learning and adaptation. So for the security space, there is nothing like it all, right? As a company, it's going to be more fun because you are, learning, coming into contact with different incidents, different challenges that you're overcoming, and growing and building yourselves, right? And then also building a skill team. So as a cybersecurity company, you obviously need to build a team, right? And you need qualified people to be able to help you scale and go through this. Now, we are going to look at some of the myths associated with setting up a cybersecurity company or a company in general, right? Before we get into how to actually set up a cybersecurity company, we'll pause here, and if there are any questions about, okay, I want to set up a cybersecurity company, but I had this or I had that, or can I set it up without this? Or I know there's a lot of such questions. And we were just going to take like 5 to 10 minutes, address some of those, and then we move forward into how to actually set up a cybersecurity company. What are some of the things to look out for? Like, so I know Jason has a question. Oh no, Divine has Jason B. Go ahead, Divine.
Good evening, Doc. This is Divine from Boston.
Go ahead.
In terms of manpower, so what is the minimum required to set up a small cybersecurity firm in terms of manpower? I'll give you a quick example. So it is the myth is in my head that probably if I need to start up a cybersecurity company, I probably need a staff. I probably need maybe an office space. I probably need X, Y, or that, and that scares me already. So in terms of manpower, what is the starting point, or what is the minimum?
Okay, good question, and such questions is what I'm looking to address. So to start off, you don't have to start off big, employing people from the get-go. And before I even get to Divine's question, maybe you might be thinking, but I don't know any cybersecurity anything, right? I'm not a cybersecurity professional. Can I still set up a cybersecurity company? The answer is a big yes, right? You don't need to know how to cook to set up a restaurant, right? You don't need to be a mechanic to set up a mechanic shop, right? We are looking at business here, not you actually doing the job. Now we'll get into the point where you are the business owner, but you can still do some of the job like Dr. Edu, right? So let's get that out of the way. You can set up a cybersecurity company without being a cybersecurity professional, without being in IT. Same way you can set up a restaurant without being a cook or working in the restaurant business, or being a cook for this number of years or that number of years, right? It's just information, right? If you have the right information and the right structures in place, you'll be able to run any company. So getting to Divine's question, you don't need an office space, and we will address all that as we are moving forward. Location, where to start, and all that. You don't need an office space to start. Now, most cybersecurity jobs are done remotely anyways. So you don't need an office space. And two, you don't need, a huge capital to start, right? You can literally start with zero. And in the upcoming cybersecurity business training that we are going to come up with, we will take you through how to set up a cybersecurity company with zero in funding, like from scratch, nothing. And you still be able to function, find customers, and gradually start moving forward. Right. So hopefully that answers your question, Divine.
Yeah, it does, and I would not profit from the fact that I have the floor to follow up another question. In terms of the cybersecurity space is really, really large. Once you get into it, that's when you understand how big it is. And one of the things that we've come to discover also with Eretmis is that they operate on a broad spectrum. So there's so many there are so many niches or so many sub departments and sub departments inside cybersecurity. Were I to start a cybersecurity business, what is because my business knowledge tells me that I will probably not start a business that offers maybe SOC services, because I will die from the first day. So what I will probably be thinking of doing is, what is the question that I will ask myself is, what is that niche? What is that area, small area in cybersecurity where there are low barriers of entry, and that I can easily position myself and have some space in the market? So of all the niches that are in the cybersecurity space, which is the easiest one for a beginner, for a starting business to position itself into?
Okay, so great question, but we will get to that also as well. But before, just to address your question specifically, you said which is the easiest to start with, right? Every area is the easiest to start with, depending on like who is setting up the company or what you have, right? So let's say Divine from Boston has no cybersecurity experience, nothing, zero, right? You set up, we are going to take you through the initial legal aspect of it and all that. Now, once everything is set, right, you want to start off, you are starting with a very low budget, right? A trick to getting your foot out there, or getting yourself out there, and before getting yourself out there for people to know you, for other companies to know you, is you have to give something out for free, right? So if you are starting off, so let's say we are using specifically Divine. Divine has some cybersecurity skill sets and knowledge already. He can work as a security professional, but he wants to set up a cybersecurity company. What is the easiest niche for him to go into, right? So governance is one area. You can help companies with policies, right, and policy setup. And I'm not sure for Divine, I think with your internship cohort, one of your mates, he got a job as a cybersecurity consultant, and all that he's going to do is look at policies and work on policies. Now you can be doing that job as a 1099 as a company, right? So that will be B2B. Simple and things that are, to me, they might be simple, but policies, helping them with governance documentation, right? And that is something that almost everybody here should be able to do. Training, just awareness training. You can help them with awareness training. Everybody, if you've been here with us doing Cyber Chat for the past year or for the past 12 months, you should be able to put together at least some things that you've heard in Cyber Chat to come up with some cybersecurity awareness training to teach companies or to help them educate their members, right? And there is a whole list of the incident response. There are areas that you can target, right? So you don't have to really go all in technical, because no company is just going to allow you to scan their network, right? If they are not paying you to do anything on those lines, or they are not just going to, okay, I'm going to do a free vulnerability scan for you. They are not going to allow you to do that, right? Because then when you do scan, it's like somebody saying, can I come and sweep your bedroom for you? Well, obviously not, right? Oh, for free, even for free, obviously not, right? But can I cut your lawn for you? Can I cut your grass for you? Or any day, right? Any day they'll let you cut it. Like there's a guy on, I think, Instagram or TikTok or somewhere.
Yeah,
All he does
he
is,
does loans for free, and then the
of
people for whose
course,
loans he knows give him recommendations.
of course. So, like, you think he has nothing to do with his time, just cutting loans for free? No, he's doing it. It's a marketing strategy. It's a business strategy actually. Now, if he cut it so good, next time you pay him to come and cut it for you, right? So you have to look at it from that. He's using that technique that I'm just talking about, right? So there are so many areas within the cyberspace that you can start off with nothing, right? And it's eventually going to pay off and turn around and make you some good. So hopefully that answers your question and everybody's taking something out of this. All right. So anybody else has any questions, any myths for us to address before we move on? I've seen some in the chat.
Yeah. Hi, this is Nagraj.
Go ahead, Nagrid.
Yeah. So I'm struggling for the same reason. I registered a company and I have excellent FIDO certified IAM product, and also have tool to monitor all the compliance things, and also I have capacity to do pen testing as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how to approach clients and how to help clients. So it has been almost like more than 6 months, but I'm kind of waiting. I'm still trying to get some clients. So is there a way you can help us, or at least we can talk later? But
Yeah. So like I was saying earlier, maybe for everybody who joined late, we have cybersecurity business training coming up, right, in January, and we are going to take you through from zero, right? The most important thing when it comes to business is if you don't have a customer, you're not a business. So you can register 100 companies. That's fine. It's just a registered company. You are really not a business until you have your first client, right? Until somebody actually pays you.
yeah, that is correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and you can have like, so for people whose focus is on the money, hire a team and all that is good, but you can hire people and start paying them money. If you don't have any clients, you are just throwing your money down the drain, right?
I completely agree.
Of course. So with this training that is coming up, we are going to take you through step by step, not just getting, B2B, but also B to government and the different aspects of that. We will briefly touch on that also tonight, right? 1.5 hours is not enough for us to go through everything, right? Even if we want to go through all of it for free, but we can talk offline. I think I probably might have something for you, Nagra.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, we will talk offline, and if you are a good fit for that, you are going to get that gig.
Okay, great.
Maybe probably
Thank
going
you.
to get your first client here very soon, right?
Yeah, actually, that is the motivation why I joined this course. I completed PCI compliance. So thinking that I can enter there as well, but still I need to find the way to enter.
Yeah.
Definitely, as you said, lawn example is perfectly fits for me.
Yeah. So, and for everybody else on here who has set up a company, and you are, just trying to figure out how to get your first client, you are going to be a good fit for the cybersecurity business training, right?
Okay, thank you.
So the most important aspect of that is not setting up businesses or all that, but how to get the clients, right? But we are going to take you through. It's a lot of things that we are going to go through, and I know, not I think, I know, is going to really be beneficial for anybody who wants to set up a company and hit the ground running. So to set up a cybersecurity business, these are some of the things that you have to, look at or go through, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you first have to set up a legal entity, right? And the legal entity is registering, going to your state's how do they call them? Register General, like your state's organization that is responsible for registering companies. So if you go to your state's websites, you'll be able to, or if you just Google register a company in New York or wherever, it is going to come up. You just go in there. Mostly, it shouldn't take you more than maybe 5 minutes or 3 minutes to figure it out and to register your company. And the fee for registering it really depends on the states, but shouldn't be more than like $200. I know there are some companies or some businesses that are in the business of registering companies for people. Those services are also good, but really, I would just go directly and register it myself because sometimes they are charging you for way too much, right? So that is, I'm not going to mention any company's name because it's their business. But
Dr. Do, and we should also let them know that you can either register, they should not register as an S corp or sole proprietor, but they can register an LLC because of for tax reasons.
Yeah, and there are different twists to that also as well, right? In some jurisdictions, S corp will be the best option for you. Some other areas, LLC will work best. But that is all part of things that we are going to discuss. But maybe probably from where you are speaking from, maybe LLC will work best. But that is all subject for discussion. When we do get a chance to sit for like the main thing, right? So establishing a legal and operational framework, you have to have a legal business, a legal entity, right? So LLC, S corp, C corp, sole proprietorship. Mostly, you don't have to register anything. It's just you. You are the company is you. That is not as advisable for anything cybersecurity, because when you run into issues, it is you, not the company, right? And we also have other, requirements such as insurance and the rest, which we are going to discuss all that as well. But that will also fall under the legal aspect of what you are doing as a company. So for your next step is to understand the cyber landscape. So the current cybersecurity trends, key areas within cybersecurity, like Divine was talking about. Cybersecurity is broad, huge, right? There is an advantage and maybe some little disadvantages to that. The little disadvantage is if you are not well informed, you wouldn't be able to take advantage of, the hugeness, if that is a word, the hugeness of the different, aspects of cybersecurity, right? So because it is big, it is broad, there is something for everybody. Frankly, there is something for everybody. If you get into the cyberspace, especially for companies, right? So don't say, oh, there are too many yellow cabs in New York, so why should I, maybe invest in another yellow cab? I'm not going to get every yellow cab gets their customers at the end of the day. Every of them, they are like every single one of them are going to, unless of course you are packed home and you are sleeping. If you go out, you are going to get, some customer or some customers, right? So everybody is going to make, because there is too many people, one yellow cab or 100 of them cannot carry all of them. So don't look at it as a saturated. There's the cyberspace is not going to be saturated anytime soon. Even as a cybersecurity professional or as a company. For companies, there are less cybersecurity companies out there than you think, right? Than we need, right? There are less out there, right? And then also for as a small company, the government supports small companies a lot. There is a small, if you've heard about SBA, Small Business Administration, all they do is help small companies to, build up to become, medium-sized to huge companies, right? So there's a lot of support. So you are at an advantage, not a disadvantage, frankly, if you want to go into this. And then also we are going to look at some other twists. There are also extra support for some groups like minority groups, veterans, women-owned companies, and the rest, all of which we are going to also discuss as we are moving forward. So understanding the threat landscape, understanding the different areas within the security space, example of what is we discussed with Divine. So there are different areas. Which of these areas are you going to identify as your niche or your target market? That now also, aside identifying an area, okay, I want to go into maybe risk management. I want to go into maybe training. So all that I'm going to focus on. I want to go into incident response, right? Developing incident response program and plan for a company. That is maybe all that you want to do. Aside identifying that, now who is going to be your target? Is it what size company, right? You have to also look at that and, be able to come up and identify your specific, what your ideal customer is going to look like. So identifying your niche is one, and also identifying your ideal customer is also, another one. And so for folks who are on here who have companies who are ready to go, right? If I ask them who is your ideal customer, 9 out of 10 they wouldn't be able to really pinpoint and say, okay, a company that is this big, that has this revenue, right, that operates within this space. So is your ideal customer going to be in the health sector, or are they in the tourism industry, or is just anybody? If everybody is your ideal customer, then you're not going to get any customer, right? Because if you are trying to shoot and you don't really have any target in mind, then you're not going to shoot anything. You are just shooting for shooting's sake. It might hit somebody or it might not. If it hits somebody, probably at the wrong place, or like it's not going to be as effective, right? So and what is your goal of even shooting if you are just shooting randomly, right? So here, you put money, resources, effort into coming up with a company. You have to also put in the time and effort identifying who your target customer is going to be. So that way, when you are, ready to shoot, you know exactly who you are shooting at, right? So if you are marketing, you know who you are targeting. Sales, you know who you are targeting. And then also for such, if you've been able to do that, you are going to go to your customer with a lot of solutions, right? You know their problem, you know what they need, and you have the answer to that. But rather than having everybody as your customer, then you are really not going to really be able to, get anybody. So same thing with, folks who are looking for jobs, right? If you ask them, so what job roles are you looking for? At least 2 or 3, well, anything. If you are looking for anything, then you're not going to get anything, right? So now let's move into developing your cybersecurity solution. So after you've identified your niche, you've identified your ideal customer based on research. Not really, when I say research, don't get scared. It's not an academic research. You can literally use your iPhone and just search online. You can simply Google, okay, what are some of the cybersecurity problems of within the health industry, right? Or health companies are facing, or hospitals are facing. There's going to be different articles on it, and that is what I mean by research. Go through some of it. Also, there are reports, a lot of cybersecurity reports, yearly reports, that you are going to get a lot of really good insight. Especially look at the ones for incident response. I think Verizon has one. So for that, you are going to know the industries that are struggling, on these specific issues in security. So you can use that to target, right? Also, there are some reports that I think I've not had a chance to look at some of that for a while, but if you get with SBA, the Small Business Administration, they have some reports that you have to pay for. I've forgotten the name of that report, but it gives you an overview of the cybersecurity space in terms of business, what is going on and all that, right? Also as well. So during the business training, I think we'll probably dig into that and bring some of that up also as well. Right now, developing your cybersecurity solution, you've identified your niche, your ideal customer. Now, what are you going to provide as a solution to them? Right. So if it is, let's say maybe you want to, I don't want to use PCI again as an example, or let's say let's use the health industry again, right? Within the health industry, they have to stay in compliance with HIPAA. Now, you don't have to be a HIPAA assessor as a company, but you know, as part of their requirements or as part of the controls they need to meet, cybersecurity awareness training is one, right? So if not for anything, every company or like everybody within the health industry, they need security awareness training at least once a year, right? So that can be a solution that you are providing. So you can do that together with maybe something else. So at least 2 or 3 solutions that you want to push out. Now, if you are into software development or you have a product in mind that you've designed already, that should be also addressing a specific problem. So all that we are talking about here, developing your cybersecurity solution, is you have to fix a problem that is there or something that they need, right? And the good part about this is they, like everything else that you can come up with, is something they need, right? It's not something that is nice to have. Unless, of course, maybe if you are trying to give them another vulnerability scanning tool, which they have one already, then, I mean, why should they purchase another one? But if yours can do something extra than what they have, then maybe probably they might be able to look at yours. But if you are a company that is just providing a service, then, you know, there is really a variety of things that you can do. You have to be innovative. You have to come up with, you know, something that is really going to catch your attention. And it doesn't have to be something really extraordinary. Just go down to the basics. Now, let's move on to what else we are looking for. So conceptualizing your cybersecurity company, that includes what we talked about already. So identifying your niche, your target customer. Now, your business plan, right? So business plan, people get stuck with trying to come up with the best business plan and all that. All that is good, but it's really not it, right? If you don't have a customer and you are wasting all your time not looking for a customer, but if you are looking for a customer, obviously you are not wasting your time. But if you are wasting all your time on developing the best business plan, then, you know, your priorities are misplaced. You have to have a business plan, but that shouldn't take 90% of your time and your effort. Looking for a customer should take 90%, you know, of your time and your effort. If you have a good solution to provide to a customer, they are not going to ask you to look, they are not going to ask to see your business plan first before they engage with you, right? Nobody asks Eretmis Inc. their business plan before we do a PCI assessment for them or before we do anything cybersecurity for them. Right? So your goal is to, you know, if you have a customer, then you have a business. Just have that in mind. Now, for you as a company, obviously your business plan will help you to structure things, to know what you're about, you know, what your target audience are going to be, what solutions you are offering. So that helps you to think through the whole process, right? And then also for you to be able to come up with a mission and a vision statement. So the goal of a business plan is to help you really put together all your thoughts as a business. So now let's move into the most important, probably the most important of all, marketing and customer acquisition, right? This can be the tricky part. Everything that we talked about, you can, you know, go back and forth and maybe fine tune them, but this is the most tricky part, right? Aside identifying your niche and what solutions you are going to offer, the most tricky part is going to be, you know, customer acquisition and, you know, marketing. So the marketing piece, you can be marketing, but the goal of marketing is at the end of the day to be able to put yourself out there and to get some customers who are going to pay for you to provide the services that you are offering to them, right? So for marketing, for today's day and age, it's even easier, right? Because social media is there. You can come up with social media marketing strategies that you can market for free. You don't really have to pay, right? You can also have paid social media or like critical social media like ads and the rest also as well, right? Building customer trust, and then also creating or having that creating that brand, right? Or creating that authority within the space. So one free giveaway that I'm going to give, creating authority within that space. You can start with the training aspect, like Divine was saying, right? At least do something, even if you don't have the chance to train any company yet. You can do videos, send it to these companies, post it online. As you keep doing that, you are creating that authority, right? And one maybe also free giveaway. There are a lot of schools around in your area. So from your high schools to your colleges to your elementary school and the rest, you can go there, speak about cybersecurity, video yourself, put it online. Video yourself, send it to whichever company you want to work with. Hey, I was here, I was here training these folks on this, or I was in this school helping them to structure their governance documentation, right? So there is always something that you can do to leverage yourself, right? Now, when it comes to past experience as a company and the rest, just like how when it comes to your past experience as a cybersecurity professional, it doesn't have to be a paid past experience. Same thing, your experience as a cybersecurity company doesn't have to be a paid experience, right? So if you did some work for Eretmis, even if you did it for free, did you really do the work? Yes, you did. If Eretmis can vouch for you and say, yes, they did a really good job, they worked for me on this, that is a past experience for your company, right? What most companies or cybersecurity companies, if you are coming in just, into the door, as a new company, you might think, but I don't have the track record. You can create the track record. And we will show you that. No, we will show you that in the business training, how to create that track record, right? For somebody to just go back and say, okay, yes, they did this, they did that. So yes, okay, we'll give them a try or give them, that chance, right? So hopefully everybody is getting some pointers from this, right? So this is the most important aspect of the whole business thing that you are going to be doing. Now, we also offer comprehensive service, right? So that will get into when you start off, you are gradually building yourself. It has to get to a point where you should be able to cover most of these services or most of the offerings that your customers will be looking for, right? So, for example, for us, Eretmis, for our PCI DSS assessments that we do, we need to do some vulnerability scans with it. We need to do pen testing and the rest, right? In-house, Eretmis, we don't do pen testing, so we always outsource to other companies to do that for us. But gradually, if we really want to look into that aspect, we can, build our own in-house pen testers, and they can do that for us, right? So for a holistic training, mostly for most contracts that I've encountered, they will mostly they want the same company to be doing almost everything, but not necessarily the same company heading everything, right? So you can outsource some of it to other companies, but then they don't want maybe company A doing this, company B doing this, so they have to deal with 4 or 5 companies, right? They want to deal with one company, and the company will deal with other companies that are part of the execution of the contract, right? So hopefully that helped. But here you are starting off by offering a core set of services or one service, and then gradually you are going to build yourself to where you are offering a whole variety, right, of services, right? So hopefully that helps also as well. So in terms of budget, right, how do you get funding for your company? Or how much do you need to start up a cybersecurity company, right? So first off, it depends on what you are going to be offering, right? If you are starting off as a cybersecurity software company, which provided maybe you want to be the next Nexus, and then you need a lot of money, coming into it because you have to pay people to develop the product, right? So in terms of software development and the rest. Now, if you are just offering services, consultancy services, then you don't really need $1 million to start, or even anything close to maybe 20,000 to even start. Like, you can start off with, just the bare minimum, registering your company and the rest, and start off with a very lean budget, and gradually land your first customer and start building up some potential and some momentum, right? And we will show you all that in the business training. Now, for funds, just securing funds, loans, grants, angel investors. Now, for one big giveaway, right? There are some banks that will offer you $10,000 credit, business credits, just with no track of business as a new business, right? There are a whole list of them. They will just grant you 5,000, 10,000. So if you get like 2-3 companies offering you 10,000 or 5,000 a piece in credits, then you can use that to register your company. No, after you've registered your company, obviously, because they will ask for your company registration documentation. So you can use that to repay, wherever you got the money for that. If there are some, things that you may be buying a laptop, buying printers and the rest, you can use it for, anything business, right? Doing maybe some little market research and the rest, you can use that money to do that, right? So, and they have very good interests also as well. So without any business track record or even a customer, once you register your company, you can get some of these funds from the different banks that will offer you business credit, right? So business credit cards and business credit itself, right? So sometimes they offer you, I think like the max 10K and the rest. And some banks will offer more. I've seen, I think Wells Fargo, a while ago, they were offering like up to like 100K plus for new companies and the rest, right? So there are a lot of, it's all about information, right? It's all about information. There are a lot of these banks out there that will help. Now, grants, the government do often have some. If you go to SBA, you'll be able to search if they have some grants like that out there. For angel investors are people with money who want to invest in potential companies, companies that have the potential that they believe in, right? So that is the key word, that they believe in, right? So for venture capital funding, there have been almost like 21 billion funding in terms of cybersecurity companies. Yes, 21 billion funding cybersecurity companies, right? Now, like I said, if you are starting off, you can start small. If you don't have huge funds or investors behind you, you can start from nothing actually, and build yourself up to a viable and a profitable, even if not profitable, a revenue generating. That is the key word: revenue generating company that will be able to also bring in some other people to work for, and then also expand eventually. Now, some of the investors or some of the companies that have put themselves out there as cybersecurity as companies that would love to invest in cybersecurity companies. This is the list. By no means all of it, but at least this is some of them, right? So you can approach these companies. Now, with these companies, you need a really good business plan, and you should have thought through what you want to do as a business, right? The niche, your target audience, and the rest. If you go to any of these investors, you have to make sure everything is squared away. You know exactly what you are doing, right? You don't want to go into any of these. And which area do you want to target? Well, all areas or everything cybersecurity, that is not going to work because they're investing money. And they want, an investment that is going to, that they are going to see some returns on. Now, in terms of still budgets wise, you have to set your revenue target. Now you have to, be able to, you have to be disciplined as a company. as a company owner, as a company, you have to be disciplined in terms of expenses. I was talking about getting some business line of credit and some credit cards and the rest. Don't just go on on a shopping spree and things that you don't need, you are purchasing. You are making t-shirts because you think you are branding, you are making hats and the rest. All that is not important. Frankly, all that is not important. You don't need to go make an expensive t-shirt or design a t-shirt and because you think you are promoting. Work on getting a customer. Customers are not going to come to you because of your t-shirt or because you have like very nice company logo or all that. Frankly, if you're in business, they work to a certain point, right? Now you are starting your business, for crying out loud. Nobody knows your business. Who wants to wear a t-shirt? So why invest your money designing, right? So I'm talking about this because I'm talking about discipline, being disciplined with funds that are coming into your company, right? And also setting your targets, looking at your expenses, operating expenses, your cash flow, and the rest, right? Setting money when you do get money, when you do have money coming in, right? How to handle it is what we are discussing here. Now let's move into contracts, and then we will wrap up with location of where you can set up your business and what you can do with all that. Now, for contracts, we are going to be looking at, so for normal, aside the government, for companies that you are going to be working with, you'll be drafting your contract and the rest, which, we can go into, contracts all day. But the most important that I wanted for us to mention here when it comes to contracts, for small businesses, or if you set up your company, from scratch, you can still be bidding for government contracts, right? And there is a way how you'll be able to do it. Now, for government contracts, there are different types of government contracts, right? We are going to look at, these are the three types, but we are going to look at one main type and break it down. So we have set aside contracts for small businesses. We have set aside for government contracting programs, right? And then joint ventures. Now, for set aside, for all the set asides, what they mean is this: there are some contracts that are restricted to small businesses. Only small businesses can bid for those contracts, right? If a big company wants to also have a piece of that pie, they have to partner with a small company to bid for that contract. So the small company was going to be the prime contractor, like the main company that wins the contract is the prime. And then you have subcontractors. So the big company will become a subcontractor to the small company, right? Those are, so all set aside, they are contracts that are set aside for specific category of companies, right? And mostly it's small companies with different designations like veteran-owned company or women-owned or minority-owned or those spaces. So we are going to look at set aside government programs, government contracting programs, set asides. So for the first one, we call it 8A. So if you've not heard about this before, you can dig into this and do some research about it. So set aside for government contract programs. So for 8A, companies that have been designated as 8A, 5% of all government contracts or all federal contracting dollars goes to these companies. If you have that designation or you've been designated as 8A. Now, how to get that designation, we will jump into that during the business training, right? Now, hub zone, for all companies that have been designated as within the hub zone or as a hub zone company, a hub zone certified company, they also have 3% of all federal contracting dollars. So 3% and 5% might seem, but that is not much. Okay, what if we are looking at 5% of 10 billion, right? Or 3% of 50 billion in terms of contracting revenue. And the government has, I don't know like the figure, but it varies every year. But the US government is one of the biggest purchaser of services right, and Goose in the United States. So they have the money, right, to do this. So if 3% of all contracting dollars are going to these designated companies, and all these are small companies, right? Any big company cannot have these designations. So if you are thinking coming into setting up a company, you are at a disadvantage already because the big companies are there, and the big companies actually they actually need you to get some of these, to get some of the action on these contracts, right? Now we have women-owned small businesses for all our sisters on here, right? If you have a company, you can apply to become a woman-owned small business. And guess what? You have 5% of all federal contracting dollars as well. And for service disabled, for all veterans, if you have any service disability, and sometimes it's not just service disability, but if you're veteran-owned, you also have 3%, depending on the contract. They will indicate that if you're veteran-owned or if you're a disabled veteran-owned, you also have 3%. So what if you are a woman-owned company, but then you also served and you are a disabled, service disabled owned company, right? Then you have 5% and 3% of that same contract if they have these types of companies listed as having those priorities, right? So for companies, for contracts that will state that, if they state that they are giving priorities to women-owned or service disabled owned, or for a company that is not within that space to win, they have to probably partner with you, right? Now, the good part about this also is that for a small company coming up with no experience conducting contracts, you can ride on the experience of the big companies who want to partner with you on these contracts to win. Hopefully that makes sense. Right. Mark, go ahead.
Yeah. So you're talking about woman ownership, right? So how much, if there is a partners in the company, how much percentage women should have to become a woman-owned company?
Oh, okay. So woman-owned, I think they should have more than 50%. So 50 plus one, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
So if they have 51%, yeah, the company belongs to them.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Oh, and great question. So same thing applies to veteran-owned or service disabled owned, right? If the veteran has more than 50%, then obviously they can be considered as a veteran-owned or woman-owned or whatever the designation. And then we also have minority-owned, right? Mostly minority-owned also has, I think, 3% or 5%. I'm not sure of government contracts. So, and this is yearly. Every year, 5% of all government contracts are set aside, or 5% of federal contracting dollars are set aside for these different designations, right? So if you're a small business, you are not at a disadvantage. You are actually at a big advantage, right? It's just information. If you have the right information, then you are going to be doing the right thing and making the right money. Now, where can you set up your cyber company, or how are you going to operate? So Divine was talking about getting an office space, you don't need all that, right? You can work from home. You can do co-working space, right? So co-share, you can lease or buy office space, obviously, for that one. Depending on what your company is going to be doing. If you are setting off, it's just you, right? And maybe probably your spouse or somebody helping you, then both of you can work from home, right? Depending on what services you're providing. And now, I mean, for those who have been, for companies that started with office space, they are all moving home, right? To have everybody work from home. So if you're starting from home, why move into an office? But to get an office space, or to get not an office space, but to get an address and all that, yeah, we can talk about that. You can, there are some addresses that are not just PO box, but they are actual addresses, because sometimes when in some business dealings, PO boxes will not be accepted. So you have to get a real address. So all that we can also talk about as we move forward. Now, for the training that I was talking about, the upcoming business, cybersecurity business owner training, it is coming soon, sometime next year. So more details will be pushed out. And if you'll be interested in this, or you know somebody who might be interested, when we send out the initial link for you to, you know, maybe put your details in there, you can do so. That is not, we will do send that out, right? So for everybody that is on here, we have your email, so when we email it out, you'll be able to, you know, get your hands on it. Now for our new PCI class, we are supposed to start this month, but we are pushing it to January. We just want everybody to concentrate on Christmas and spend some time with family. So we are moving that also for the upcoming internship. That is also going to be on the 13th of January as well. Still, you know, buying time for everybody to, you know, for all those who are going to partake in this, to spend more time and really concentrate on, you know, some end of year holiday stuff. So we are about to wrap up. Any questions for the group before we wrap it up? There are some in the chats. So Michael, if Michael is here, you can probably go through the chats for me. Go ahead, Frank.
All right, so Dr. Edu, I don't know if this question, I don't know, but let me ask. So let's say if how do you, like, as a new business, get to know the going rate for like contracts that you bid for, or like if you're working for or doing like a private gig? How are you gonna know that? Am I supposed to charge 100,000, 200,000, 300,000? Like, how do you get to know the going rate?
Oh, did you see that smile on my face? That is the answer right there. It's a big smile, right? Okay, so how to know the rate? For that, you know, also
especially if you don't want to price too high, like to price yourself out because you are new and you want to, like, yes.
Okay, so you can do research on that, right? How much does it cost for a pen testing service? Online, you are going to see some numbers like maybe 12,000, 15, 20, 30, right? And school yourself on that, you know, to get like a raw figure, right? Now, when it comes to like specifics and for different types of activities that you might be conducting, right, that will vary. But overall, you can do online, you can get some rough numbers. That at least is a good starting point, right? But as a company, if you ask me specifically, I can't tell you here, this is how much I charge, or this is how much we charge for this or charge for that, because there are so many variables that goes into it. You might be doing an audit. It might seem like a pretty fairly simple, small company. You dig into it and you're like, what the heck? Right? Now you have to like restructure your pricing and say, hey, because of ABCD, we are not charging this anymore. We are, you know, going to increase it, or we just probably have to, you know, call it a day, right? So for pricing, I get what you like, where you are coming from. As you are starting off, you are not just going to price in a vacuum, right? You don't want to be the company that is going there charging people 100K for like a pen testing for a very small company, right? You are going to look like a moron. So you have to do some research and see, okay, how much on average, how much is it going to, like, how much is pen testing going for? On average, if I'm doing a vulnerability scan for a company, how much is it? On average, if I'm doing like a training for maybe 20 people in a company, how much am I charging per head? That will help you to really gauge for the 20, or how much am I charging in general, right? If I'm consulting for a company, they are bringing almost everything cybersecurity to me. It looks like they have nobody on their cybersecurity, but just my company. You know, how much is good. Now that is also going to, aside just, you know, doing your research based on the market, you also have to look at your own expenses as a company, right? If a company is charging maybe 15,000 for pen testing, but for your company, you have a higher overhead, your expenses and everything, and also the time and the number of people who are going to work on it. You don't have to charge the 15,000. If you can charge less, charge 10. That makes you more competitive. charge 10. If you have to charge 25 and you think, 25 is what is going to help you break even, then obviously do so, right? But then not everybody is charging 15 to 20 and you are charging 400,000. And you are going to look like a moron. People are going to go like, I'm not going with that company, right? So it's research and then also based on how much or what you are looking for as a company in terms of what is going to help you to break even in terms of your overhead. Right? So hopefully that helps. All right, so there are some questions in here that we are going to look at briefly. Okay, I think like some folks were answering how much you register for a company. Oh, Divine was saying 500 in Massachusetts. What avenues do you recommend to keep abreast with the current cyber news outside the news? Okay. So I believe we covered some of them in the PCI class. Oh, okay. So Freeman, to keep up with cyber news, one, Eretmis Cyber Chat, right? Two, so there's a website, cybernews.com, right? They have hackerone.com. They have like a whole list of them, right? So those are areas that you can use. Just simply Googling cyber news will also bring a lot of cyber news out. But cybernews.com is one of the good ones out there as well. Right now, all of them are coming with different cyber news and different, so it's good to have like a variety, right? If you are more inclined to the hacking side and new trends in hacking, then like hacker news or HackerOne. I mean, I think like that will be good. And then someone was asking, will there be any Eretmis sale coming up? Oh yeah, there is actually a sale coming up pretty shortly. It'll start next week, right? How should we reach out? Okay, so for the 20% discount on the voucher, send an email to David at Eretmis, right? David at Eretmis, and let him know, hey, I want to purchase maybe a voucher for Security Plus, name it, and they will take care of you, right? And also, could I register for the PCI internship only? So I'm not sure if I got your name right. Nebochi. Sorry if I didn't get that right.
You butchered it.
I did. Oh, yeah. Oh, say that again, please.
Nebechi.
Nebichi. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nebichi. Don't know why I'm pronouncing that E, but it's an E. Okay. Nebichi. Okay. Yeah. So we are coming up with only PCI internship only training also as well. So that will be by the end of, maybe early next week, we are going to also push that out there. And that will go with the sale also as well. So you'll be able to get on there. But all that is going to start next year in January. Next year is like 2 weeks away.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. I'm interested in the business training. Okay, now business training, yes, we are going to push out the information about the business training. So, and I also encourage everybody, even if you are not thinking about setting up a cybersecurity company now, what you're going to get out of this is not only for a cybersecurity company. You can use the same blueprint for any company that you want to get into. And one big aspect of it is how to leverage your small size as a company and your minority status to be able to leverage for government contracts and also, contracts outside the government space as well, right? And so it's really going to be a very good, interesting training. You are going to learn a lot, right? So for businesses, for you to be able to thrive, every business, right? Business is based on information. So let me just run you through this. So what do you think Amazon, not even Amazon, Macy's, right? What business do you think they are in? Anybody wants to give it a shot? What business is Macy's in? Macy's, the retail shop Macy's is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it is a wholesale, like not wholesale, it's a retail, but it's a kind of supermarket where you can get home needs like furniture, clothes, and everything.
Okay.
And
So
they
I
have
think
retail stores
Macy's.
as well as online stores. That means
Okay.
e-commerce that falls into cybersecurity.
Okay. And somebody else wanted to answer this.
I
So
know,
I'm
I
just
mean, the obvious things is who they are as a business, from, the, physical view. But what I noticed with Macy's is even though, they've run into some issues, they continue to acquire real estate. I would say one of the things they're in is real estate. It's not really cybersecurity related, but I'll say that.
okay. Zach, please, is it Zach? Please go ahead. Zachary. Oh, I think you are still muted.
Yeah.
All right. So before Zach comes in, so Macy's, AWS, name it, whatever company, name it. Whatever you think they are doing, that is not what they are doing. Right. So Macy's, they are selling clothing and the rest. But are they really selling clothing? Or is the information that they have in how to get the clothing at a cheap price and sell it to you at the price they are selling it to you? Which one is their business? The information is their business, not what they are
Yeah.
selling.
My answer originally was they are selling goods and services.
Yeah, but it's the information, right? If you go to the Ford dealership near you, right, they are not selling you Ford, they are selling you the information of getting how they. So if you knew how they got the Ford, maybe probably you are buying it at 50,000. If you knew where to get it for 25 and sell it for 50, do you think you go to the Ford dealership to buy the Ford from them? Obviously not. But the point that I'm trying to make here is it's all about information, right? If you have the right information, you can, instead of going through some steps, you can jump steps and, get there faster. So that is the point that I'm trying to make. Macy's is selling you a shoe for $50, but did they get it for $50? They got it for probably maybe 10 or 15, but are they going to show you that, or are they going to give you that information of, oh, you know what, we got it here for $15? If they tell you that, then their business is over. They don't have any business anymore, right? So the point that I'm trying to get at here is, like, for this training, the cybersecurity business training, you are getting that information that is going to make you who your company is going to be, right? So information is the most expensive, and information is what keeps the business together. It's not what they are selling or how much people are buying. Because if we all know where Macy's is getting that shoe from, nobody is going to Macy's to buy it at that price, right? So it's all about information. And in the business space, everybody is holding their information really tight to their chest, right? Very, very tight to their chest, because once they give you that information, they think they are going to go out of business, right? So it's information. Everything that we are going to give is not, and for us, for that training, is just you are going to see firsthand the information being implemented, right? And you're also going to get a chance to also implement it and see how it's working and fine tune it, right? So even if you are not planning on, setting up a company tomorrow, still the information that you are going to get is priceless, because that is going to go a long way to whenever you decide, okay, I want to give this a shot. Or you can just even play with it, just pretend you are doing it and just go through the motions of what we've taken you through, right? Because I can speak all day about it, because I know the ton of information that is going to be given, right? And that information you're not going to get anywhere, frankly. I don't know where you're going to get that, but from nowhere. Okay. 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 So from Ken is asking, Can you be consulted for further guidance on this subject? Oh yeah, Kim. Yeah, we can talk. Will the cybersecurity business owner course help us determine the area? Yes, Amara. So the area of specialty, we are going to go through all that as well, right? Now, like the list for the training will be also sent out. Things that we are going to go through, things that we are going to touch on. One of the very important areas is funding, right? At least getting maybe initial $10,000, $15,000 in terms of credit cards and also business credit, right? All that information also nobody is going to tell you that information, right? But if you know it, you know it, and that is how you are going to run your business. So for us, we are telling you at a very small price, but what you're going to get out of it is way more than just like everything that we do at Eretmis, right? You come and take a course for 5,500, you get a job for 130. None of that money is coming to Dr. Edu or anybody in Eretmis, right? So our goal, we could have been pricing these courses 15,000 and the rest like everybody else. But that is really not us, right? Our goal is to make sure you are very successful. If we can make it free, it is going to probably when we get some big donors, we'll make most of this free. But until then, so that is why we are doing this. When you do get your company and you become, millionaires, you can probably come back and, hey, we are funding half of this project that you are doing. Then it's going to be free for a lot of folks. Is there a citizenship requirement to bid for contracts? No. So to bid for contracts in the government space, you don't have to be a citizen. You only have to be a company, right? A legal company in the United States. Even companies outside the US, depending on what contract they can also bid for, right? So outside, yeah, because in the different areas where the military have bases, you have local companies bidding for contracts also as well. So you don't have to be a citizen to bid for contracts. Will the cybersecurity business course determine, okay, area specialty? I think we talked about that already. Will there be any Eretmis still coming up? Okay, I think we talked about that. I was going general merchant, okay. The business to make money. Yeah. Okay, yeah, Thomas, business to make money. I'm in the UK. Yeah, so in the UK still, what we are going to go through is going to help as well. Pat, please go ahead whilst I'm going through the chat. There are some hands raised. Pat, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Edu. My question is about how long the training will take, and also in terms of payment. Could you tell us how much will be the cost of the program?
So I can roughly tell you about the duration, but the cost, the cost is going to be, so the cost is around in the ballpark of 6,000 to 7,000, but there is going to be a huge cut for the Christmas. So it's going to be probably under 2,500, right? But after Christmas, it's going to jump up to where it is supposed to be, right? So that is an estimate. But it's going to be within that range, right? But for everybody on here and also for next week, everybody that is we are going to give more information as sometime next week, right? And then more details in terms of curriculum, what we are going to tackle and what we are going to go through. Now for the duration of the training, because it's really packed, there is a lot. It's probably going to take somewhere between 2 to 3 months, right? And you don't have to wait till the 3 months to be able to start using what you are going through, right? So how we have it structured, at least after every four or 3 modules, you should be able to do something very substantive, right? Move a step forward. So if you already have a company, as we are going through, you can be moving forward. Also, when it comes to, tools that we are using to reach out to companies or to get, people who matter within companies to talk to them and stuff like that, right? You'll be able to start doing that as well. So what we are doing is not quantum physics. It's not abstract. It's something that you can actually practice. As you are doing it, you are practicing, you are fine-tuning it. You are getting back to us and other instructors. We are polishing you up and, okay, go this way, tackle it that way, right? And we are a community. So everybody is also coming in to speak to the experience. Okay, when I reached out to these people this way, this is what they said. This is what I used in addition to what we had, right? And then also, most importantly, proposals. How do you write proposals? How do you write government contract proposals? That is a big one, right? Huge one, right? And also, even how do you bid for contracts, government contracts? How do you prepare yourself? How do you, right? So for everybody on here, if you are starting off as an individual, there is a lot of work that you can do as an individual to really build a company from nothing, right? So, but like I said, it's all about information. If you don't have the information, then you can just forget about it, right? You can search bits and pieces here and there, but really to get the bigger picture and okay, these are the steps I have to follow and I have to. So we are helping you. You know, you are standing on the shoulder of giants to be able to, get there faster, right? So, Julius, go ahead.
Yes, doctor. I have a question that I had a conversation with a couple of my colleagues in our internship. So and then we were talking about the contracts and stuff like that. So my question is, we raised this issue of background checks. Like if you want to have a contract with the government or any other agency, like do you go through those rigorous background checks or like they do financial checks to see if you are owing any money, or like do they go through all of that? We do the secret stuff. Do they go through all of that?
Okay, so you are mixing the individual with the company, right? As a company, for the government, they have to make sure you are in good financial standing, obviously, and then
as
also
a company.
Yes, as a company,
okay.
Right? No, good financial standing. In a simple terms, you don't own anybody huge money as a company, right? If you're a company, you are in debt for maybe 1.5 million to Wells Fargo, and you can't prove that your books are good, although you owe money, but you still have good books, then the government is not going to work with you, right?
Okay.
So, but if you don't have nothing, you have $0, you don't own anybody, you are fine, right?
Okay.
Depending on
I was mixing, the personal and the
yes,
company
yes.
thing. Okay.
Yes, yes. So for like companies, it just have to be a legal entity, and for you to work with the government, you also have to register. There is a government site that you have to register with, and there are some little steps that you have to go through to set up a company. You set it up, you get your DONS number, aside, and like your DONS number is not your EIN number. That is totally different. Right? All these are things that we are going to take you through as well. So ballpark price for business. Okay, so I think Leo, somebody asked that question already. So let's run through these real quick. So if there are any more questions, you can please raise your hand. Can you give an idea about the course? Okay, so Benis was also asking the same thing. Can you still join the class that will start in January? Yes, yes, you can join the class that is still starting in January alongside this. Do you have any QSA to run? Okay, do you have to be a QSA to run a company? So no, you don't have to be a QSA to run a cybersecurity company, right? If you want to set up if you want to set up a QSA company, as we are going through this course, also one thing that we might probably throw into is that, right, how to become an assessor company, right? Because all those are also different areas of cybersecurity that you can look into, right? You can be an assessor company for either HIPAA, ISO, PCI, and any of those, right? And for a company starting off, depending on for ISO and the rest, CIS controls, for those, they don't have any years of experience requirement for a company that is starting off, right? So you can easily jump into that, and that also will kind of give you some leverage, right? I'm a certified ISO assessor company, right? That gives you some leverage and some weight as well. So all those are things that we are going to go through and show you how to do those. You have a job assets. I'm not really sure, Danny, of your question, but if you can ask. So if there are any questions, please do. You can go ahead and ask your questions before we wrap it up for tonight.
I have a question. Before you
Go ahead,
you
please.
get your own resume, so to speak, your own experience as a company, haven't done work for other entities. How would you proceed to get a customer? I know you already mentioned all the other ways, like, you know, show yourself teaching at a school, do some pro bono work. Like, could you use someone else's resume, so to speak? Like, I know how to do that job that you just did for that company, but I put that on my resume and go and get a contract.
Okay, so as a company, we are speaking about being a company and as an individual.
Oh, I know. I mean, like the resume of the company, not mine
Okay.
as an individual.
Okay.
Like, you know, as part of the job that the company has done.
Okay. So let's say if you are bidding for a government contract, right? And you don't have, maybe you should have done this type of work for at least a government agency or 2 or 3 government agencies or something on those lines. You can look for another company that has done that and partner with that company. And the next question is, how do I find those companies? Yes. Easy. Easy, right? So for government contracts, they are very open, right? And then also for listing of companies within the government space, I can show you where to find that, right? Is how do you call it? Like now they've changed it to some beta. It's some.gov, right? You go there, all companies that are working in the government space or have registered to work in the government space are listed there. Now, for the contract that you are bidding on, for the government contract that you want to bid on, they probably had the same contract like 2 years or somewhere ago that, you know, somebody is currently working on, right? But you can, like what I'm trying to say is you can dig into who won that contract and probably see, you know, what type of experience that they have, or even for the government list that they have for like companies that work within that space, you can always see who was doing this contract or doing that contract and partner with them. Right? So when I was talking about like the partnership for where big companies will approach you to bid, you know, to hide behind you to bid for contracts that are for small companies, because some of these contracts supposedly for small companies, there will be like contracts in the tunes of millions, right? 20 million, 10 million, 15, 5. And you think these more like these big companies, they'll let that money go. No, they still want a piece of that pie. So when you are partnering them, you are going to ride on the experience to be able to do right. And then there are some government contracts that are like, I think for New York, almost contracts that are 150,000, they don't even bid on it. They just give it directly to small companies, right? If you do qualify. Now, for some of the for some of the contracts, the best part about it is if you cannot qualify as a company with your resume, individuals who are going to work on the company, their resume is going to be used instead, right? So if you have 3 people who've been working on this space who have done this contract, their resume is going to be used. And when you are bidding for government contracts or federal contracts, anyway, regardless, the people who are going to work on the contract, their resumes will still have to be submitted together with their contract anyway. Right. So
okay, thank you.
There are ways that you can get ahead.
I'm sorry.
All right. Anyone like any more questions for the group before we wrap up for tonight? All right. And for the WhatsApp group, okay, so Tony has a question in there. Eretmis is of course one of the companies that yes, you can partner with Eretmis. Obviously, what is the minimum number of employees required to have in a cybersecurity company? So Felix, starting off a cybersecurity company, there is not the minimum required is 1 person. At least somebody has to work there, right? Now, depending on what you are offering and what you are doing, you might look into bringing people on board. And sometimes what works best. So for Eretmis, our own best practice, we run a very lean stuff, right? So what I mean by this is mostly for contracts that we work on, we do contracting, right? So for folks that are coming in, if we are doing a contract and we need 10 people in these different roles, they are all going to come on as contractors, So we pay them 1099, right? Then when they are done, they are done. We don't have anything else. If you don't have anything else going on, then they are not hanging around and we don't have to pay them, right? So there is not a very high over cost for us. And then also you don't have to do the health insurance and all other stuff. So if it's 1099, if I give you 150, you take your 150, you pay your own social security and everything else, right? If it's 200, you take your money and you do everything. As opposed to but like those are just business strategies of how to go about it, right? So you don't have to keep a staff if you don't have the means to, or if it doesn't make sense for you business-wise, you can always do contracting. So if, let's say, I've never done anything cybersecurity, but I'm a business person, I set up a cybersecurity company. Now, I want to do pen testing, so I'm a pen testing company. Guess what? I'm going to start putting an ad out there, looking for potential pen testers. They are going to come in and do interviews, but then I need somebody who knows pen testing, right, to be able to interview them, to really come up with a short list of these are my go-to pen testers, right? And they are going to be on contract. So when I do go get, because I'm the business person, I'll go get the contract and then I'll bring them in, even though they are the technical, like they have like the technical expertise. I have the business expertise, right? So and then I'm going to bring them in to do it. I'll take the money, pay them, and then the rest goes to the company, right? Now, if you yourself, you're a pen tester, then you can go get a contract, do the pen testing, and then the money stays with you and the company. The company pays you, and the rest stays with the company. Right? So either or, if you know security, that's fine. If you don't, you can still equally function. Like what I was talking about. You don't have to know how to, make the best burger to set up a burger shop, right? To sell burgers. You can get somebody who can cook really well or better than you to come and do the cooking, and you run the business aspect of it. Randy, go ahead.
Yes, I just come in and catch you at pretty much at the end, so I'm gonna have to rewatch this. But I was thinking along the lines just last week and this week of sending you an email in regards to what you're just discussing here. Because I already started a company, a cybersecurity company, and I'm getting a few certs, but I want to go into the GRC and PCI aspect of it. And so I know you are QSA, and I wanted to reach out to you to see what kind of partnership we can have. So again, I have to rewatch this information here that you presented tonight because I missed most of it. But do you do partnership such as what I'm asking now?
Oh yeah, we do. We actually have a partnership program, but we had to put it on hold for a while because of busyness. Not business, but busyness, right? Maybe I'm not saying that right. Like we were so tight during the year, so we couldn't run it again. But next year we are going to run that. It's a PCI partnership program.
That's a quick follow-up. So in me starting a company, because I'm heavy on the marketing and sales sides of things, that's my approach. So I'm definitely going to need a company that provides GCR services. And like I said, eventually PCI DSS as well. But so how do I know like Barracuda, they will offer GCR. So it's companies like that I would probably have to approach, and because I'm going to be marketing my service, I'm going to be doing webinars and different things like that. So like I said, I catch it at the end, so you may have covered this. So maybe in all fairness, I should watch it and then maybe try to reach out to you. So if you could put up your information on the screen, that we did it.
Okay, so for the WhatsApp group has been posted. I think our other information will also be posted here shortly. And for any questions on, we are going to push out more info on the business training, so you should be able to also get hold of that also as well, right? So we are just going to post this information in there. If there are no more questions, and we're in the process of wrapping it up for. I think Pat, was your hand up from from previously? I think before Randy.
No, that was before. I already asked a question.
Oh, okay, you already asked your question. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, everyone. We are about to wrap up. So please visit our website, Eretmis Academy, Eretmis Inc. Right. Any of those, you'll be able to find an appointment link on there. If you want us to do one-on-one, and our phone numbers are also in there. You can shoot us a text. Join the WhatsApp group also as well. That way, anything that we post, you'll be able to have access to it. Right. And hopefully everybody was able to get something out of this. Even if you are not looking actively to get into the business side of cybersecurity, we encourage you to, at least entertain that idea or play with that idea, right? There is enough space for all of us on here to set up cybersecurity companies. And if we all do, we are going to take over the market, because there's going to be a lot of collaboration between us, right? Working on different projects. And there's a lot out there, right? What you might see, I might not be able to see. Some like who I might not know, right? So we can all collaborate together and come up with something meaningful that we can all be proud of, right? So information for the training we posted out sometime during next week, and so you are going to have the whole entire curriculum of what we are going to cover, and everything else that comes with it, and the pricing and all that. And then also for our sale, Christmas sale, we are going to push it out also next week. So it's going to be a big sale, maybe probably the biggest this year. So be on the lookout also for that. So I appreciate everybody's time. Have a great night, and happy holidays. Still getting close to Christmas. Happy holidays, everyone. And we really appreciate the time you spend with us on Friday nights the whole entire year. And we hope we are building you to become the best cybersecurity professional that you can be, and now eventually to become cybersecurity business owners as well. Have a great night, everyone. For interns, we are meeting tomorrow as usual, same times for both groups. And for everybody else, have a blessed rest of the weekend, and we will meet again next week for Cyber Chats.
Thank you, Dr.
All right, stay blessed, everyone.
Thank you.
See you, Doc.
Thanks, Dr.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't have an